of this moving forward. They've been staging assets, reaching out to our partners. I also want to thank Governor DeSantis as well, who is staging fuel to come into these areas that are going to be well hit. Also, Senator Rubio, as well as our other senators and Congressman Mills, who have reached out to us to tell us if we need anything at the federal level, they're there and prepared to help us. Make sure we have about 2 days to prepare before this event is going to hit. Some of us have been through hurricanes such as Irma, Ian, and Charlie, who have lived here for a long period of time. However, we have a lot of new residents here in Seminole County, and I want to assure you that you're in great hands. Lean on your neighbors who have been in this situation. This is also a time to show some compassion and patience to your fellow neighbors. If you have elderly folks who live in your neighborhood or newer residents who've never been through this type of event, I would ask that you check on your neighbors, make sure that they're getting the things that they need. We also have a great deal of assets here at the county. You can find out a lot of good basic information at prepareseminole.org. That's prepareseminole.org. When it comes to patients, we know that there's a lot of groundwater that's laying around. We're getting a lot of calls. They're concerned about flooding. And we are monitoring the rivers and the lakes. Our public works folks are on the ground going out checking drainage ditches, culverts, and so forth as we speak. Unfortunately, Seminole County, like a lot of places in Florida right now, are seeing historically high ground levels of water, which means the water is not going to perk like it typically would. As far as closures, right now the Seminole County schools will be closed on Wednesday and Thursday. They will let school out early tomorrow afternoon. On Thursday, they will reassess whether Friday will reopen based on the impacts of this hurricane. County government will be closed on Thursday and Friday. We will be open tomorrow until after lunchtime, except for those employees who are essential employees to provide the services to the public. So with that said, I would encourage you to reach out to prepareseminole.org for information. You'll also find contact numbers for us opening shelters, and we also will have shelters opening that are pet friendly. So don't worry about you've got a pet, you've got a dog, you've got a cat, and you have to evacuate. We have made provisions for you to do that. Mr. Alan Harris will talk about that in just a few minutes. We also have to be aware, because of what has happened to our sister counties on the West Coast, we're going to have a lot of evacuees headed our direction. As of this morning, we had about 6,000 hotel rooms available in the Central Florida region. We expect that to evaporate very quickly. As you've seen, maybe, and some of you have reported, and I appreciate the media being here to report this, is that we have I-4, 75, and these other thoroughfares that are plugged up with people trying to leave the West Coast, which is where this catastrophic storm is slated to eventually hit. Those people are going to be in our community. So be patient. We know there's going to be traffic jams. We know things often don't happen fast enough. But please be patient and show some good Seminole County compassion for your fellow man. So with that said, Mr. Alan Harris will come up and give you some more information. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Chairman. Appreciate that, Chairman. As Chairman Zimbauer said, now is the time to prepare. The county's been preparing over the weekend. We've had sandbag operations open since Saturday. At those sandbag locations over the weekend, we've given out over 40,000 sandbags. Thousands more today. I know there was some considerable lines at the Boomba Sports Complex earlier today. There was a line that wrapped around the complex. And so we're continuing to give out sandbags throughout the day today. We also were able to keep the sandbags open a little bit tomorrow. The slowing of the storm has actually helped us a little bit community-wide. Helps us to prepare a little bit more, give us a little bit more time to prepare. So we're going to keep sandbag operations open till noon tomorrow. So you can do some sandbagging tomorrow for those last-minute individuals that need to do that. Debris, our yard waste, our that occurred over Hurricane Helene was a big thing here in Seminole County. That was a big concern for us. So regular solid waste garbage is scheduled for today and tomorrow. We're doing enhanced pickup of that, trying to get anything that's still out there from Hurricane Helene picked up so that we can make room and not have that yard waste moved around as Milton comes. If your yard waste is not picked up, we are asking that you try to get that to a secure location. So if by tomorrow, on Wednesday morning, you see that the pickup hasn't occurred, we are asking you to put that in a secure location. As the storm passes, we don't want that yard waste to move about the community. Right now, we are allowing individuals that would like to go ahead and just take it directly to the landfill to do that for completely free. As you can go to the landfill and go right in and drop off your yard waste there. We have worked with our debris contractors in preparation for coming to Seminole County, looking at the models. We do modeling on debris as well. So the models currently show anywhere from about 3 million cubic yards of debris to 10 million cubic yards of debris could occur during Hurricane Milton. To put that into Disney terms, that is 33 spaceship Earths at Epcot Center. All right, that's a lot of debris to pick up, 33 spaceship Earths. It is going to take us a long time to pick up debris. Plus, some debris teams are already busy in North Carolina, in Tennessee, and Georgia, and in the Panhandle picking up debris already. So we are getting those crews here, but just know that will take a little bit of time. Roads and Stormwater are prepping sites in preparation for a major debris, but it is going to be a long process. Over the last couple of days, county workers have been securing government buildings, staging equipment, getting generators and pumps and shelters all ready to be opened. The shelters are on standby. As the chairman mentioned, we're going to have a special needs shelter, pet-friendly shelter, general population shelters. Those will all be announced when they open. So right now we have equipment that's staged. We need to get those as soon as school closes tomorrow. Those shelters will be prepped, and then we'll announce those shelter openings. If you are an individual that needs to come to a special needs shelter, persons that are on oxygen, require electricity to run a medical device or something like that, we ask that you sign up at for our special needs registry. You can do that through prepareseminole.org, again, prepareseminole.org, or you can call our Citizens Information Line, 407-665-0000, if you need assistance in registering. As we prepare the county, we ask that individuals do their part in preparing around the home. I have to do that to my home as well. So we're not asking you to do anything that I wouldn't do. I'm not going to ask you to do that. Residents should have several days of worth of food and water. We know that power will be out for a while. We know that communication systems may be down for a while. So please prepare the families. You can stay up to date on all things Hurricane Milton related for here in Seminole County, again, by going to our Prepare Seminole website. You can also register for emergency alerts by texting STORM 2024, STORM 2024 at 888-777. So just text 888-777 and STORM 2024. Or you can again call our Citizens Information Line at 407-665-0000. I do want to reiterate, county government is closed on Thursday and Friday, so we're going to be open all day tomorrow. So Wednesday and Thursday, I'm sorry, I said that wrong, Wednesday and Thursday. So county government is closed on Wednesday and Thursday. We are open all day tomorrow, so if you have any things that you need to do with the county government, certainly please let us know. With that, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to the Fire Chief, Matt Kinley.
Good afternoon. Just want to start off with the Seminole County Fire Department, as always, is here ready to serve. I would like to reiterate what Alan has already said, that preparation is the key. As you all are preparing, so are we. We're going to be deploying additional resources along with just our everyday fire trucks. We'll be also staffing our smaller trucks, the woods trucks, with chainsaw teams so that we can open up the roads to enhance our response. We'll also be staffing up our 2 high water vehicles, and have them ready to stand by in anticipation of any flooding that may happen. That being said, if evacuation orders are issued, I strongly urge you to follow those. Your safety remains our top priority, but you also need to assist in keeping yourself safe. During the peak of the storm, responders may not be able to reach you due to the extreme weather. However, if you have an emergency, do call 911. We will respond as soon as we possibly can, and our 911 dispatchers may be able to help you over the phone. While we do encourage you to call 911 for emergencies, please avoid calling for non-emergency calls. Don't call for storm updates, power outages. This can hinder our ability to respond to a true emergency. I would encourage you to use the Citizens Information Line for such inquiries. It's also important for the residents to know we do expect a lot of wind. When wind exceeds 70 miles an hour, our roadway operations will cease. We will halt those operations until those extreme winds die down to under 70 miles an hour. We will get to you, but again, if you are told to leave, you should heed those warnings. I always like to talk about generator safety. That continues to be one of the things that causes injuries and death during these hurricanes. Power outages are likely due to the high winds, so please be mindful of generator safety. We continue to see these negative outcomes. Just some key points: never operate a generator inside any structure. Keep it at least 20 feet away from your home. Do not place it near any open doors or windows. Avoid refueling. Do not refuel when they're still hot. And if you do not have a carbon monoxide alarm, now's the time to get one. Those can save lives. Please keep yourself safe. These are just a few tips from the Seminole County Fire Department, but for comprehensive information, please visit prepareseminole.org. Thank you for your partnership in keeping you safe. And now I would like to turn it over to Sheriff Lima.
Thank you so much, Chief, and thank you, Chairman. It's good to be back here once again talking about all those important details that we know as Floridians that we have to prepare for these storms. It has been some time since Seminole County or Central Florida has taken a direct hit from one of these storms. So it doesn't matter what your media source is, what press conference you're looking at, whether it's here in Seminole County, Orange County, Brevard County, you're going to hear a lot of the same messages that are being delivered. Right now is our opportunity. Not only do we prepare at the beginning of hurricane season, but we prepare constantly for an opportunity to do this. We just pulled 35 members of the Sheriff's Office back from Dixie County just yesterday to make sure that we're kind of prepared for this. And I think that you'll see various windows when you hear Alan have these press conferences and conversations. You'll hear various windows. We're in the window right now of preparation. You've heard from the fire chief, the chairman of the county commission, and myself that we are prepared. Now it's time for you to prepare your homes, your families, and have that plan, because there'll come a moment in time where you cannot shift from that plan. You don't want to be out there on the road during the height of the storm. So you're gonna have some options for you. One is to make sure you secure as much as you can. Make sure that your home is set for that rating. You'll hear manufactured home, mobile home communities. You'll hear some professional recommendations and maybe some legal guidance from us as we move forward. I want you to kind of be mindful of that. A second is to the best of your ability, if you're a business owner or operator, please be incredibly flexible with your workers within those organizations. They have to also have a window of time so they can work to prepare themselves, their families, to get whatever they have to get taken care of, just so we're not having problems with the storm. Typically, from a law enforcement perspective, we're encouraging people to stay off the roads if you don't need to be on the roads. The next day and a half, 2 days, you see a lot of people hitting the stores, hitting the gas stations. Bring your patients with you. A lot of people that are there trying to do the same thing, and supplies are running out. So again, be patient, be mindful, and be neighborly to the best of your ability. If you decide to go to one of our shelters, we'll have multiple shelters open here in Seminole County. And we want to encourage you to do that, knowing that it's not a 5-star hotel that you're going to be going to, but we will, at bare minimum, provide you a safe location. Not only safety from the storm, but at each one of our locations will be staffed with at least 4 deputy sheriffs are partnering police officers, and I think that that's kind of important to mention for us. You're hearing now from the county and the fire chief and myself, but we're working in harmony with the 7 municipalities here in Seminole County. All of the city agencies are represented on conference calls, and we remain in lockstep on what our overall holistic strategy is to do this. So you'll be safe at those locations, and as we get closer to the storm, you'll learn more about those particular locations as we get closer to that. If you're evaluating whether or not you're going to leave your home, some people have fear of leaving their home should they have damage and then their properties and valuables be taken. You will see then the posturing of the sheriff's office and partnering municipalities throughout Seminole County as we will go to a full staffing and then overstaffing component. Knowing that the schools are closed and our court systems are not going to be open for a majority of this week, all of those additional deputy sheriffs will be visibly out patrolling the streets. But in addition to that, we'll have what we call as anti-crime unit. These are investigative units within the sheriff's office that look like they're driving normal cars, and in many regards, they have uniforms and clothing that don't look like this. They'll have some identifiers on it, but they're out there looking for people to try to take advantage of a situation like this and commit crime. So, again, if you're making that decision, we will do all that we can to make sure that your homes, your properties are protected with increased enforcement, surveillance within those areas, particularly the ones where people may vacate a lot. The message on the road, of course, every time we do this, we have conversations about what you should do if you come up to an intersection that does not have a traffic signal that's working. You're going to treat that as a 4-way stop. Many of the intersections throughout Seminole County, we have operated with a powered generator system. So should the lights and traffic signals go out, you may see a deputy sheriff at the location. You may have some power through a generator, or it may be completely blacked out. If it's blacked out, you treat it as a 4-way stop. Slow down, be extra mindful if you absolutely have to be on the road. And our generators will be trackable. Every time of storm, somebody wants to make a name for themselves and try to steal one of our generators, and we will absolutely embarrass you if you do that. So again, they're for life-saving efforts. Don't mess with the generators. Each year you see somebody goes out there and tries to do something, but don't be the person this year. We're tracking those things. We can get them back. Last and certainly not least, which is important for this briefing, you're going to hear myself and the fire chief talk a lot about safety, but it is incredibly important that once the rain starts coming, that you're not driving through puddles that are on the roadway. When the ground gets wet, sometimes those roadways can wash out, and there's no reliable way for you to tell the depth of a puddle before you drive through it. And we've had some very difficult situations that we've had to work through because people thought that there was a low-lying area. We've had to evacuate people from cars that are stranded because the car stopped working. So try not to drive through those puddles of standing water. In addition to that, when the ground gets wet, if you're new to Florida, Floridians know this, that when the ground gets wet, a lot of our trees, especially our larger trees, get loose in the ground and things start to fall down. So whether it's a tree, whether it's a power pole, if you had a power line that's on your car or in and around your car, you don't want to get out. You're going to be able to call 911, call the sheriff's office. We'll be prepared to come out there and provide whatever services that we possibly can. And then, of course, just like the fire department, we have our heavy rescue vehicles that are going to be strategically staged throughout the county. Should the winds get high enough where it's no longer safe to get patrol vehicles out there, we can get to some critical calls for service with our heavy vehicle and get out there to make sure that you're taken care of. So, again, take care of one another. Look at all of that list of things that you have to do at your house. If you're a business owner, be mindful of your employees. Try to give them some time so they can go home and prepare their own homes. And then if you need us, call us. I mean, we're still, again, fully operating. Tomorrow at midday, at noon, we'll close the sheriff's office for normal routine business, and we will remain closed for normal routine business through the end of the week. Now, our emergency response units, we're going to go into a more operational, tactical type of positioning for the remainder of the week. That will allow us enough time to get through the storm, assess the damages, and then get out there and provide whatever relief to citizens that we possibly can. So, thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff, very much for your words of wisdom, as well as all of our other entities here in the county. And as you all have heard today, your government is doing their part to prepare this community. Again, now we ask you to do your part. Again, go to prepareseminole.org. You'll find a lot of assets there, including a checklist of items you want to make sure that you consider that your family has. It's all the obvious, but some of the obvious, which is often overlooked, which is food for your pets, medications for anybody in the household. Again, you've got about 48 hours to get those things worked out and handled. So we want to make sure that you're able to do that. I would also hope, as many of us like to do as Floridians, second guess the predictions of where this storm will go. And it's very easy for us to say, well, we've been through this before. It's not going to hit here at the last minute. It's going to go south or it's going to go north. Take this storm very seriously, folks. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best. And that's all we're asking you to do. And that's what we're doing here at the county on your behalf. So again, thank you for all of our federal and state partners. Thank you for the news media for being here today. And with that, we'll open up the floor for questions. Well, what I would say is, if you live in one of our low-lying areas and historically have lived there, and that's typically the Lake Harney along the Econ Basin or the St. Johns River Basin, as well as the Wekiva River Basin, if you've been there for a long period of time, you know what the waters do. You know after Ian we had a lot of flooding. So if you have new neighbors, show the compassion to those neighbors and help them understand what they may expect. We are standing ready. We are monitoring those river levels at all times. Mr. Alan Harris and his folks are watching that with our state and federal partners. So if there needs to be an evacuation order, we're prepared to execute that and order that evacuation. Our hopes are that our citizens will pay attention, do the right thing. If you see the water coming up, it's going to be best that you start to get out. Don't wait until the last minute. If you know you flood already, this next 48 hours is probably a good time for you to seek going to a friend's or a family's residence, or maybe take a short vacation for 4 or 5 days. But we don't want to run our assets thin, because if we have a lot of people to rescue in a flooding situation, we only have so many firefighters and first responders. We have invested in 2 new state-of-the-art high water rescue units to the tune of about $550,000 apiece, but there's only 2. So we encourage you to pay attention to the reports, the weather reports, prepareseminole.org, a lot of information. County will continue to update in Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, all of those media sources, social media sources, so we encourage you to do that.
In 2022, we saw flooding after hurricanes had already moved through. Is that a risk that we're thinking about as well?
Well, we never know what's going to happen. It's really based on the path of the storm. So what we're understanding is if it moves a little bit further south, we're liable to get more rain. And the problem with Seminole County, we're sort of in the middle of the St. Johns River watershed. So anything that happens to the south comes north to Seminole County. So often there are days or even a week in delay of that water moving its way through the watershed as it moves on beyond us to other sister counties to the north of here. And that's why it's so important that you watch the media reports, you pay attention to what we're putting out from the county, as well as, again, prepareseminole.org is the place you can find all things that you need to know.
Are you guys pumping out water right now, or is there just no effort?
Well, that's a good question. We typically are not pumping out water because that's controlled by the St. Johns Water Management District. And the rule of thumb is you cannot shed water on your neighbor, which means we can't pump water out of here and ship it down to Orange County. We can't pump it out of here and send it up to Volusia or Lake. All we're doing is shifting the problem to someone else. So again, it's about compassion, patience, and understanding that we are at historic groundwater levels already. And if we get, an excessive rain event, we're going to have flooding. We know that. And that's why we've got the evacuation orders already drafted, ready to act. The fire chief and our great sheriff are already aware of that. We're in communication constantly. So help will come, but we need to rely on our public to make sure they put themselves in the best position that we can help them.
Could you talk more about those new units that y'all just invested in, the 2 water rescue units?
Sure, it's the 2 high water oscilla units. I'll let the fire chief come up and answer that. All I can tell you is the Board of County Commission stroked the check for over $1 million for 2 of them. Chief?
Thank you. Yes, we replaced our the previous units, which were Vietnam era high water units, just getting older, 30 inches of water fording capability. In other words, they can get in 30 inches of water. These new vehicles can get in 50 inches of water, up to, and we can transport up to 28 people. The other big asset on these trucks is to avoid the hurt backs of firefighters. We have a lift gate on the back, so we're able to get a lot of weight onto there with numerous people, wheelchair bound, that we're not trying to lift up into a truck. Very, very, very state-of-the-art, high-quality vehicles.
I think you guys and also the sheriff's office have boats you can send out for searches. I would assume you aren't sending those out until the storm's already passed through.
No, we are actually pulling, we have 2 boats that are already in the water on a day-to-day basis. We're pulling those out until the storm passes. We do have an airboat out at Station 42, multiple smaller boats, inflatables, all deployable from at any point in time to go make a rescue. But we will wait to deploy those if we need to. All of our assets that we already have in the water, we're pulling out.
And just to reiterate, too, that you guys are going to cease responses after 70-mile-per-hour winds.
Yes, assuming that they do get to 70 miles an hour plus, we will cease operations. Now, we also look at the county holistically, that we may have those speeds in one area and not in another, so we'll continue responding in that other area. But that's where I try and do reiterate to the citizens, make yourself safe. There is a point in time where we may not be able to respond. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions? Seeing none, I will now turn it over to Mr. Bob Cortez, who will do the Spanish interpretation and presentation. Thank you all very much.
Buenas tardes a todos. Aquí un resumen de todo lo que se ha hablado en la conferencia de prensa para nuestro oyente en español. Estamos monitoreando el huracán Milton y le pedimos a todos que tomen todas las medidas necesarias de precaución. Tienen 2 días para prepararse en lo que se espera la llegada del huracán Milton hacia el área de la Florida Central. También le queremos informar que las escuelas públicas se estarán cerrando en el condado de Seminole para el miércoles y el jueves. Todavía no se ha decidido nada después de la tormenta, para el viernes o la semana entrante. También todas las oficinas del gobierno cerrarán el miércoles y el jueves. Y nuevamente queremos recalcar que para el viernes y los demás días es dependiendo de lo que suceda con la tormenta. Algunos de las ciudades también estarán cerradas todos miércoles y jueves, pero algunos empezarán a cerrar temprano el día de mañana. Se han informado que más de 40,000 bolsas o sacos de arena se han distribuido a través del condado de Seminole. Todavía hoy en día se están distribuyendo más en el área del complejo de Bumba Sports, que está en la Lake Mary Boulevard en Sanford, y también si va a algunas de las municipalidades, ellos también están teniendo algunos sitios abiertos para los sacos. Se estima que van a estar abiertos hasta mañana, posiblemente al mediodía. Si están buscando, pueden ir de hoy o mañana para buscar su saco de arena. Los recogidos de basura se estará como planeado hoy, y para mañana, para el jueves y viernes no se recogerán basura. También están recogiendo todo escombro de la tormenta pasada, de la tormenta Eileen. Si tienen algunos escombros, sácanlo afuera, pero tienen que estar recogidos ya para mañana, porque para el miércoles o jueves no se estarán recaudando. Refugios están listos para abrir. Todavía no se ha abierto ninguno. Estamos esperando que las próximas 24 horas para tomar determinación cuáles son los refugios que se van a abrir y dónde van a ser las localidades para estos refugios. Van a tener refugio para personas de edad avanzada, también para aquellos que necesitan ayuda especial, para niños y para las mascotas. Para más información puedes buscar todo esto en la página y tiene información en español en www.prepareseminole.org o pueden llamar el número del 407-665-0000. También, como uno de los oradores era el jefe de los bomberos, están listos para asistir, tienen sus equipos pesados nuevos, tienen unos botes listos para atender a aquello. También están usando unos drones para ver los áreas inundables, cómo se van alcanzando para tomar determinaciones. Todavía no ha habido aviso de evacuación, pero están tomando esas decisiones según la tormenta vaya acercándose más. Los bomberos estarán asistiendo si llaman 911 para alguna emergencia, pero cuando los vientos lleguen de 50 a 70 millas por hora, ellos no saldrán por su propia seguridad hasta tanto los vientos no mermen. Los generadores son algo de importancia. Asegúrese que no tenga generadores debajo de techo o dentro de su casa. Mantén por lo menos 20 pies de distancia. No eche gasolina a algún generador que esté caliente. Usen las alarmas de esos de monóxido de carbono para que estén eso. Y también ten en cuenta las extensiones. No enchufen muchas cosas a una extensión que puede también causar un fuego. La recomendación es que se queden en su casa, tan pronto hayan recogido todo, medicina, alimento, todo lo que es necesario para prepararse la tormenta. Cuando llegue la tormenta, por favor, se le pide, quédense en su casa. Están más seguros en su casa, a menos que hayan emitido una orden de evacuación. Le pedimos, si le han dado una orden de evacuación, que la siga. Pueden ir a los refugios que le han asignado. Y si necesita ayuda, también pueden llamar al número no emergencia de Departamento de Seguridad Pública, que es el 407-665-6500. El sheriff le dice que hay una ventana de preparación. Tenemos 2 días para prepararnos. Si tiene un negocio, tenga un poquito de consideración hacia sus empleados. Déjalo que se vayan temprano, aseguren sus negocios, cierren temprano, porque ellos también tienen que prepararse. Y entonces, más importante que todo, a todos que estén buscando gasolina, comida, agua y todo, tengan paciencia. Tengan mucha paciencia porque todos los demás están tratando de hacer lo mismo. Entonces, lo demás es, va a haber muchos oficiales policíacos en la calle. Van a estar patrullando tan pronto puedan. También van a tener una unidad de anticrimen. Si están pensando robarse un generador que tienen en los semáforos, no lo hagan porque eso tienen unos GPS de traquear y lo van a coger. Si se le va la energía, si no hay luz y los semáforos no tienen luz, trátelo como un par de 4, porque obviamente estén seguros. Pero se le está otorgando, se le está pidiendo a todos que se queden en su casa. Las cajeteras van a estar mojadas, van a haber baches y todo lo demás. No salgan mientras la tormenta salga. Si necesitan ayuda, pueden llamar. Si necesitan más información, prepareseminole.org o llame al número de teléfono. Muchas gracias por todo.
Thank you all again for being here. If there's no further questions, we'll conclude. Are there any other questions?
Is there any other guidance for people who live in apartments, anything that they should do differently?
Well, your apartments are typically, surrounded by multiple other units. I would say lean on your neighbors, make sure that you're collectively prepared, make sure you deal with your management company or the management personnel to make sure that you're doing the things that they expect you to do. But a lot of it's just good common sense, and that's what we're really asking for is, take care of what you need to at home so we here at the county, when we get a call, we're able to respond with as much personnel and apparatus as we're able to, but preventing that initially, we hope that our residents will properly plan. You've got 48 hours to do it. Again, take this event very seriously. It's a great day if we don't have a huge impact, but all indications are we are going to have high winds, we are going to be out of power, we are going to have trees down, and again, it's about compassion and patience and understanding that we're all going through this together. If we all have good compassion and patience, we'll come out the other side of this in good shape. So again, thank you all very much for being here. Thank you, the media, for getting the word out on our behalf. Be well.
One last thing to note, the government closes it is closed as a community tomorrow, and it is closed on Wednesday and Thursday. Reassessing the Friday.
Yeah.